What is going on, guys? Welcome to your 13th PHP tutorial. And first of all, welcome back to me because I know that you may have just watched the last video and now you're watching this one. But in between that last video in this one in real life, there has been a lot going on. I went to Cancun and I actually got sick and I got like the worst sore throat of my entire life. I'm actually on antibiotics now, so it's kind of sucky, and if my voice sounds a little bit weird, then that's why. But yeah, even though there may be a couple seconds between the time you watch the last video and this one, a whole lot happened in my life. So another thing, I'm trying to figure out where we left off. What I think we did was, I think that we pretty much took all the data and put it inside a database, and now we're ready to start analyzing this stuff. So if not, and if I'm totally going on the wrong path, then I guess I'll figure that out soon enough. But let me go ahead and now that we have all the data where we want it, let's go ahead and start analyzing this bad boy. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file, and I'm just going to go ahead and save this as, let's see, yep, we have the stock downloader. I think that's good to go already. So let me actually go ahead and make a new folder, and I'm just going to name this analysis because, like I said, we're going to basically have a bunch of different how I don't want to call them functions, but a bunch of different formulas that we're going to be testing. So we're going to be putting each of these formulas in a different script. So we probably don't want it all jumbled up in the same directory as this. So I'm going to throw them, oh, excuse me, I'm going to throw them all in a folder called analysis. So I'm just going to go ahead and name this one analysis underscore A. And might as well save this as a PHP file. .php. Now I'm just going to go ahead and whenever I make a formula, I'm going to go make it A, B, C, D, and that way it just helps me, organize things a little bit better because what we're going to have to do is this formula is basically going to run through the data, and we want to like store our results in a database. So if we had 10 different formulas, instead of trying to remember the name of each one, we can just run script A, then analysis B, C, D, E, F, G, and we don't have to be like, okay, stock goes down .php, stock goes up 3 days in a row .php. You see what I'm saying? So now, with that little spiel, let's go ahead and start coding this bad boy. PHP, and okay, I remember how to code some PHP at least. So the first thing I want to do is actually include that connection file. So remember that connection file we included right here in our stock downloader pretty much gives us access to the database. However, we can't just copy and paste that from this stock downloader.php because check this out. It's located in a different file. If we go ahead and try to open this right here, there's no include file. So we need to hop back a directory and then hop back into our includes folder. So how do we tell PHP to hop back a directory? Well, we use those two little periods or dots, whatever the heck you want to call them, and then you use the forward slash, I forgot the name of it, whatever the heck it's called, and that says, okay, move up to the parent directory, and then the includes folder is there. So remember, you can't just use this path right there. That would mean that there's an include folder in the same directory as basically inside the analysis folder, and it's not. So with that being said, what we want to do is we are going to build a formula. Now the very first and probably the only formula I'm going to teach you guys how to do is this. Whenever a stock goes down for one day, the next day, is it likely to go up? Is it likely to go down? So basically, you're saying this, okay, after Google goes down, the next day, should you buy it or should you sell it? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to test this formula not only on Google, but through multiple companies, all the companies that we have listed in our ticker master. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build one main loop, and the main job of this loop is pretty much to loop through that ticker file and extract the ticker name. So I'm just going to go ahead and call my function master loop. Sounds like a rap name. Master loop. And I think that if I was the rap, that would be my name. But anyways, oh, still a little bit sick there. I just had, oh, I just had some Mucinex, so now the phlegm's coming up. Pretty cool. So now what I'm going to do is I actually want to store that file in a variable called, I'll just name it main ticker file, and set this equal to f open. And of course, as a parameter, you write the directory of the ticker. Now, remember, the directory or the file path for the ticker was tickermaster.txt, but we have to move up one directory because we are in the folder analysis right now, and it's in the parent folder. So dot dot slash, and you actually need to surround these in quotation marks, dot dot slash, and I believe that name was ticker master dot text, and the second parameter is r, since we're just going to be reading this file. And what I mean by this dot dot is whenever you open something, anytime you need to go up a directory, in other words to the directory before it, then you use that dot dot. And since I just wanted to verify tickermaster.txt was the name, okay, we're good to go. I didn't forget that part. So basically now this main ticker file represents ticker master, which remember was a text file with all of our tickers in it. So now we have access to that file. What do we want to do? Well, what we want to do is we want to build a while loop. And what this while loop is going to do is just run through this file and grab each ticker one at a time. So let's just go ahead and build a while loop and build feof. And as a parameter of this, I'm just going to use that main ticker file. Now what feof means, I can't even remember if I talked about this in the last tutorial. This is pretty much a pointer checking for the end of file. So it's pretty much like a cursor that's going to go through your text file. Let me go ahead and open this up. Tickermaster.txt. It's like, technically it's a pointer, but it's pretty much the same thing as a cursor, or at least that's the closest I can explain it. It's going to loop through this, and then it's going to give you this, and then this, and this, and this, and this while loop is going to keep going until you reach the end of the file. So the very first thing it's going to do is return Yahoo, then forward, Netflix, Adobe, GE, and then our while loop is going to end. So the very first thing we want to do is, remember, we actually don't get anything yet. It's just a pointer moving, says where do you want this cursor to be. So we want to say, okay, we actually want some data in the form of a string. So in order to do that, we need to use a formula called fgets, but let's go ahead and store that in a variable first. So company ticker, and set this equal to fgets, and we're just going to go ahead and name main ticker file. So just remember, whenever I say pointer, just think of it like a cursor. So now what this fgets function is going to do is it's going to go ahead and return the first line. It basically returns a line of text as a string. And not only does it return this line, but it also moves that pointer for you to the end of the line. So it does a couple of different things here. Basically returns a line as a string and also moves that pointer or cursor. So now that we got a company ticker, what do I want to do after this? Well, the only thing I want to do is trim it, because remember, whenever I trim it, I just ensure that if I accidentally have a space like right after that or something, I don't want that included. So let me go ahead and just use the trim function, and that will take care of any unnecessary or unwanted white space. So there you have it. There's the beginning. In the next tutorial, we're going to start running through this data for each of these companies and analyzing this crap. So yeah, there you go. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you then.